What's up, fam? Just when we thought we'd seen it all in the wild world of celebrity drama, this right here is a whole new level of lunacy. Buckle up because what I'm about to reveal you will leave your jaw on the floor. Jim Jones. Yes, the Jim Jones caught red-handed. And no, we are not talking about some petty quarrel or a trifling misunderstanding. Chrissy Lampkin has had enough after years of standing by her man through thick and thin and being an absolute train wreck. Is done, but oh, it doesn't end there. What she just disclosed, it alters everything. Betrayal scandal, a hidden truth that nobody saw coming, and believe me, when you hear what happened you'll never look at Jim Jones the same way again. Is this the final straw, or is there an even darker twist waiting to explode? Stay tuned, grab your popcorn, and if you're ready to plunge deeply into this madness, press that like button and subscribe because things are about to get dirty. Let's go. If you thought you had seen it all in the world of celebrity relationships, think again, because what I'm going to divulge is on a whole new level. Drama check, treachery check, an incredible catastrophe that no one saw coming. Yes, you better believe it. And at the heart of it all, Jim Jones, yeah. The same Jim Jones who has been with Chrissy Lampkin for more than a decade. The same man who has avoided commitment like the plague. And the same rapper who has managed to stay in the headlines not for his music but for his never-ending relationship problems. But this time, oh this time, he could have just lost everything. This isn't just another random infidelity claim. No, this isn't about Chrissy waiting forever for a ring that never arrived. This time, Jim Jones was caught red-handed and the internet lost its head. The internet detective struck again, and it all started like any previous Hollywood scandal. There were a few whispers, some fuzzy photographs, and a whole lot of speculation. At first, people assumed it was just another crazy rumor. Because let's be honest, Jim Jones has cheating allegations have followed him like a shadow for years. Chrissy Lampkin has always been the devoted ride-or-die type, standing with him through every scandal, every dubious moment, and every time he avoided the big wonder, when would they ever get married? But then things got very serious very fast because this time it wasn't just whispers. There were receipts. And once those documents started dropping, it was game over. The scandal breaks wide open. First came the images at first sight. They might not seem like much. Jim was seen in a dimly lit lounge sitting near Jim Jones, leans in close, whispering something in her ear, with his hand resting just a bit too casually on her leg, and smiling, in a way that made it very evident that whatever was occurring wasn't simply nice talk. And then oh, it got worse because this wasn't just any lady, but someone Chrissy Lampkin knew, so-called buddy. The betrayal runs deep. That's right, Jim Jones wasn't just found cheating, he was caught cheating with someone from Chrissy's own circle. And once that fact went out on Twitter, people were upset. Fans who had formerly backed Jim and Chrissy's love felt terrible. But it gets much worse because then came the leaked chats, images, and texts that created a picture of a month-long hidden romance, and then the nail in the coffin was a recorded phone call. And what Jim Jones said in that tape was completely awful. Jim's statements horrified the world. Imagine being with someone for over a decade, sticking by them, supporting them, fighting for them, and then you hear this: Chrissy Lampkin ain't going nowhere, she's too committed. Have to try anymore? Pardon me? What so? After all those years of waiting, defending him, putting up with all the rumors. This is how he talks about her. The internet lost it, the betrayal, though the utter contempt. People went to social media instantly. Chrissy Lampkin woke up. The internet reacts. And it didn't take long before the hashtag started trending. #Chrissy Lampkin wake up, #leave him. Girl, #Jim Jones is cancelled. People were telling Chrissy Lampkin to go away. Chrissy Lampkin, how much more do you need to see? Leave him, sis. He literally stated, you're never leaving. Show him wrong. Chrissy deserves better. It's been over a decade. She gave him her youth. Go away. The remarks were cruel, and the real question was how Chrissy Lampkin would respond, because, let's be honest, Chrissy Lampkin isn't the kind to remain silent. She's combative, feisty, and when she's angry, she makes it known. Chrissy's stunning answer: for a time there was silence. Admirers waited for a reload scroll. In a video that quickly went viral, Chrissy Lampkin sat down with a chilly, soulless expression, her voice steady, controlled, but her words devastating. I have given my everything to a guy who plainly never deserved it. I trusted in a love that wasn't genuine. I allowed myself be a fool, never again. Bang bam drop. Chrissy Lampkin finally realized the truth, and Jim Jones' entire world began to crumble. The issue now is, what would Jim Jones do? Would he plead for forgiveness? Will Chrissy actually leave? Or will Jim somehow talk his way out of this, as he always does? Because let's not forget, this isn't the first time Jim Jones has been caught up in some trouble. And if history has taught us that Jim Jones has a knack of making controversies disappear. But this time, this could well be the scandal that ultimately ends everything. So there we have it. Chrissy Lampkin finally spoke out. She dropped those devastating words. The internet exploded. And Jim Jones' radio silence. No Instagram postings, no Twitter rants, no damage management. And when someone like Jim Jones remains silent in the thick of a controversy this enormous, you already know something is going on because, let's be honest, Jim Jones likes limelight. But this was a nightmare for his lengthy partner. The woman who stood with him for almost a decade, recently informed the world that their love was a fake. So naturally people started questioning where Jim Jones was. And when we finally received an answer, it was messy Jim Jones' weak effort at an explanation after days of utter quiet. Jim Jones finally returned, and oh boy, the way he handled it was vintage. Jim Jones, no apology, no damage management. Instead, he went live on Instagram, resting in his car, sunglasses on, blasting music like nothing had happened. And when fans started clogging the comments with questions, Jim Jones, is it true? Did you actually cheat on Chrissy Lampkin? He just laughed, then he eventually reacted. And his comment was an utter catastrophe. Dude, y'all believe anything the internet is making up? Tales, sir. The internet didn't up those photographs. The internet didn't make up that voice recording. And then he hit us with the worst excuse of all time. That wasn't even me in those pictures. Like that, hold up, not you. Let me get this straight. The man in the images who looks just like you, wearing the same clothing you were wearing earlier that night with the same tattoos and the same chain, isn't you making it make sense? The internet drags Jim Jones hard. Unsurprisingly, nobody bought it. The memes terrible. The comments much worse. Jim Jones out here gaslighting us like we don't have eyes, bro. Believes he's in the Matrix, sir. We saw you, not Jim Jones, pulling that "it wasn't me" argument in 2025. It was horrible. And Chrissy Lampkin, she was done because up to this moment, there was still hope that maybe Jim would step up, acknowledge his faults, and fight for their relationship. But instead, he decided to play stupid. And that's when things took a turn nobody saw coming, since Jim Jones was busy pretending Chrissy Lampkin was making moves when the scandal didn't exist. And her next move surprises everyone. Just when folks thought they'd seen it all, Chrissy Lampkin hits us with the ultimate power. Chrissy Lampkin went directly to the courts to remove Jim Jones from the house. She didn't go live on Instagram or compose a lengthy dramatic post. Shared boom. Now this is where things get really crazy because, according to insiders, Jim Jones wasn't even expecting it. That's correct. He was blindsided. Jim Jones is ejected out image. Jim Jones walks came to the home, believing everything is good, possibly singing to himself like nothing's wrong. But the instant he attempts to get inside, refused, according to sources. Chrissy Lampkin changed the looks. And when Jim Jones attempted to seem perplexed, Chrissy's lawyer handed him an official notice: you no longer reside here, and he lost it. Witnesses claim Jim Jones broke out, shouting at the security guy and demanding to be let inside, attempting to phone Chrissy Lampkin, but Chrissy not responding. She was done, and the greatest part, Chrissy Lampkin wasn't even home. She had already moved out. She had officially put Jim Jones behind. Jim tries to twist the story now. Here's where things get more comical. After being publicly ejected out, Jim tried to flip the narrative. The next day he went on a podcast, and his reason was even worse. Before I let Chrissy Lampkin have that house, I was already moving out. Sir, you were struggling with security to get inside and stop the cap, but nobody cared what Jim Jones had to say anymore. Chrissy Lampkin had officially moved on. Chrissy's final comments and the end of Jim Jones. In an interview, when asked about the issue, Chrissy said something that made the internet go crazy: I wasted too much time, I'm done, just like that. No tears, no drama, just the cold hard reality. And people were cheering her on. Chrissy Lampkin, we love you finally, free sis. This is the glow-up worthy we are seeing history. She finally left. It was the moment fans had waited years for, and Jim Jones was totally embarrassed. What happens now? The issue is, where does Jim Jones go from here? Does he try to get Chrissy Lampkin back, or does he keep humiliating himself even further? Because one thing is apparent, Chrissy Lampkin isn't looking back. Chrissy Lampkin went out, the locks were changed, and the romance was finished. And the internet had officially proclaimed Jim Jones a lost cause. But here's the thing about men like Jim Jones: they don't take defeat quietly. So while the world was cheering Chrissy's newfound freedom, he was scheming, and what occurred next, nobody saw it coming. Jim Jones' final desperate attempt at redemption. When Jim Jones saw that Chrissy was genuinely serious When he watched the internet roasting him and realized that no one, not even his closest friends, were supporting him anymore, he did what any scared guy does when he is losing control. He played, just 1 week after being booted out of the house. Jim published a bombshell Instagram post with a big dramatic statement and a black and white photo of himself, looking especially forlorn seated on a sofa, head in his hands, with the comments, "Some people will never appreciate what you do for them until you're gone. I gave my heart, soul, and all, but I guess that wasn't enough. Enough, mister. Not this gaslighting bullshit. Not after cheating, lying, and humiliating Chrissy Lampkin in front of the world." And naturally, the internet was not buying it. Fans call out Jim's manipulating techniques. The comments section utter flames. "Jim Jones, please, you weren't enough since you were at the club with a whole other lady. Not you playing the victim after cheating for 15 years straight. I gave my heart and soul, man. You brought her worry and gray hairs. It was a slaughter." People were dragging Jim like never before. But what truly rocked the internet was Chrissy's answer, because just when we thought Chrissy Lampkin's last statements about Jim Jones, Chrissy Lampkin had been silent for days and had not responded to Jim's Instagram antics. She wasn't giving any interviews, but then on a random Thursday afternoon, boom, she released a single tweet, offering your heart and soul. "You gave me a headache, the blessed," and that was the end of Jim Jones. The internet lost it. People were yelling the Queen had spoken. Cheesy truly struck him with the last nail in the coffin. Shattered, never recover from this one. This was no more. Chrissy Lampkin had finally removed Jim Jones from her life. And just like that, she was free. Where does Jim Jones go from here? The question is, what happens to Jim Jones? Because, let's be honest, his career was already on life support. His music useless, his reality TV days are finished. And now the only thing people Jim Jones is associated with is fumbling the most devoted lady in hip-hop. So what does he do? Option 1 is the public redemption tour. Jim may do the standard washed-up celebrity approach, apologizing on every podcast, sobbing in interviews, claiming he's a different guy. Perhaps he'll go on The Breakfast Club telling about how much he regrets everything, trying to make himself the Chrissy Lampkin gave this man 15 years to get his act together. So if he wanted to change, he had plenty of time. Jim may find a new female quickly, not because he is truly ready for love, but because he wants to make Chrissy jealous, which is typical toxic ex behavior. Perhaps we will see him unintentionally photographed with some young influencer holding hands at new. Perhaps he'll start sharing cryptic love phrases, acting like he's happier than ever. But we already know the truth. This man is unhappy because while Jim slides, Chrissy Lampkin is prospering. She moved out, acquired a new home, a new clothing, and a new vitality. For the first time in years, she is not waiting for a guy to change. And the greatest thing is that reality TV producers calling her major brands want to work with her. Celebrities giving support. It's like the world was waiting for her to finally walk away, because the instant she did, doors starting opening. This is the Chrissy Lampkin we've been looking for. And Jim, well, he'll have to sit back and watch, because now, for the first time in forever, the world is seeing Chrissy for who she truly is, a lady who deserves better. Final thoughts. So here we are, Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin, a 15-year saga that should have ended years ago. But better late than never, because if there's one thing we can all learn from this, loyalty means nothing when it's one-sided. Chrissy gave Jim Jones years of her life. She stayed by him when no one else did, and in exchange, he humiliated her over and over again. But now she's finally free. And Jim Jones the one left wondering what may have been. So what do you think? Can Jim Jones ever recover from this scandal? Or is he officially cancelled forever? And most importantly, where do you stand, team Chrissy Lampkin or team Jim deserves it? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Wow, what a trip if you made it this far. First of all, shout out to you, because let's be honest, this story has had more twists and turns than a full season of reality TV. But now I have to question where you stand on this whole mess. Are you team Chrissy, cheering her for finally walking away from years of disrespect? Do you think she should have gone far sooner, or do you think she made the correct move waiting till she was fully ready? Is there any part of you that still believes Jim Jones can redeem himself? Maybe you think people deserve second chances, or, in Jim's case, 10th chances. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I need to hear what you're saying. I believe this drama is far from over. And if you enjoy deep dives like here's where we break down all the wildest celebrity scandals revealed and jaw-dropping drama, then press that subscribe button right now. I guarantee you, we are simply getting started. Also, don't forget to hit that like button. If you are pulling for Chrissy's glow-up era, Let us make sure she sees everything. Love and support are exactly what she deserves. That's all for now, but believe me, I'll keep an eye on the situation, because if we knew one thing about Jim Jones, this man is unable to keep out after drama. So stay tuned, remain dirty, and I will see you in the next one.